Most people think they should automate everything. They see the buzzwords, the systems, and automation, and they think if they can get the software to do it, they're done. That's wrong. If you automate everything, you're just automating chaos. You're putting your most important customer touchpoints into a black box where no one owns anything and nothing gets fixed when it breaks. The real question isn't what should run automatically, it's what should stop running automatically. That's the thing people miss. They're so focused on automate everything, they don't realize that if you automate everything, you've just replaced judgment with randomness. When you automate a follow-up sequence, you get a sequence. But when you automate a sales conversation, you get a generic message that makes your customers feel like a number in a machine. You're not saving time by automating the wrong things. You're creating a black hole of confusion where nothing gets done right and nobody knows who's responsible when it breaks. This is Marine Dealership Marketing, the show about marketing that actually works for boat dealerships. I'm Mikey, and today we're talking about what should run automatically in your dealership marketing system, because the difference between successful automation and automation disasters is a single question: who owns it? Let me tell you the real story of why this matters. I once watched a dealership spend 3 months building an automation system that ran everything: lead routing, follow-ups, review requests, inventory sync. They were so proud of their system that they started ignoring their CRM. They thought if it was automated, it didn't matter who owned what. They were wrong. That system broke on launch day. 3 weeks later, the lead routing stopped working because nobody knew where to go. The follow-ups went out in a different order than intended. The inventory updates caused confusion on 3 platforms. When a customer complained, no one could figure out who was responsible for fixing it. That's what happens when you automate everything. You lose ownership of your own system. You trade speed for accountability and get neither. Now here's what should run automatically. These are the high-volume, low-risk tasks that don't require judgment. The ones where a few mistakes won't cost you anything and a lot of people can do them at once. Lead routing. This is where you send every new lead to the nearest available sales rep based on location and expertise. You're not making a personal judgment call here. You're just matching demand with capacity. Set it up in your CRM so that when someone submits a form, they automatically get routed to whoever's available. Follow-up sequences. These are time-based messages sent after initial contact. If someone emails you about a boat, send them an automated welcome message in 3 hours. Then another one at 24 hours. Another one at 72. This is mechanical work with clear rules and high volume. No judgment needed. Review requests. You want to ask for reviews a few days after a sale. That's the perfect automation candidate. You don't need someone to think about whether it's the right time or if the customer has been happy. You just send the message, because that's what customers expect. Inventory price updates. These come from your DMS and update listings automatically across all channels. No judgment, no decision making. Just feed it into your system and let it run. This is a mechanical task with high volume and low risk. That's what should run automatically. And the goal isn't to replace human salespeople, it's to eliminate the bottlenecks that cause leads to go cold while reps are busy doing something else. The goal is to keep things moving when your people aren't available, not to remove them completely. The line between what should run and what shouldn't is volume and risk, not importance. Routing a lead to a rep is important, but it's mechanical. A live sales conversation about financing options requires judgment and relationship, so it stays human. This automation isn't about efficiency for its own sake. It's about taking the load off the people who actually sell boats. It's about ensuring that every customer gets timely attention without human error or delayed response. When you automate the routine, human judgment can focus on what matters. Here's how to build a system that works with automation instead of against it. First, identify your high-volume, low-risk tasks. That's the starting point. You want to look for work that happens often and has little personal risk if you get it wrong. Then you want to put these in your CRM or marketing platform so they fire on their own schedule. No manual action required. Next, set up clear triggers. When someone submits a contact form, send them the welcome message automatically. When a sale is completed, start the review request sequence. This isn't about creating complex workflows. It's about setting up simple, reliable systems that don't rely on people remembering to do things. Then, integrate your DMS with your listing platforms for inventory updates. You can't have a modern dealership without this. Anytime you change a price or update a vehicle in your system, it should immediately sync across all your online listings. This is where the biggest ROI comes from. No more manual entry errors and no more outdated prices. Finally, build accountability into every automated task. Set up alerts so someone gets notified if something breaks. If inventory updates fail, someone should get an alert. If a follow-up sequence isn't working properly, someone needs to know about it. You don't want your automation to disappear into the background. You want it to work, and you want someone to own it. The key is this. You automate routine work so that humans can stay on judgment calls. Lead routing? Automate. Sales conversation about financing? Human. Inventory sync? Automated. Follow-up sequence? Automated. Customer service phone call? Human. That's not a system, that's a balance. The one number that matters is this: automate everything you can, but don't automate anything that can't be owned. You can have an automated system that's actually run by people if you set it up right. But if you let automation become a black hole of no ownership, it won't help your business, it'll hurt it. That's why I always say automation is only as good as the ownership behind it. If you automate everything but don't own anything, you've just created chaos with a software bill. The biggest mistake people make here is thinking they can automate anything that's technically possible. They see a tool and think, I need to make this automated. But the real test isn't technical capability. It's whether you want to own that automation or not. If you're not ready to own the system, don't start it. If you're not prepared to be responsible when things break, don't automate it. This is where most dealerships fail. They start automating before they understand who owns what. Another error is trying to automate everything at once. You can't automate your whole business in one day and expect it to work. Start with just a few tasks that are clearly mechanical. Lead routing, follow-up sequences, inventory sync, these are the safe bets that work. The third common mistake is not setting up monitoring. If you automate something without knowing whether it's working, you're just guessing. Set up alerts, check your results, and be prepared to adjust. Your automation should be a tool, not a black box. And don't forget about data quality. Automation only works if the data behind it is good. If your CRM isn't updated properly, your lead routing will send customers to the wrong rep. If your DMS has incorrect inventory prices, you'll be selling boats at the wrong price across multiple platforms. This automation is only as good as the information you put into it. The system works when you automate what should run and leave everything else in human hands. Your lead routing? Automated. Your sales conversations? Human. Your inventory sync? Automated. Your review requests? Automated. But every one of these needs to be owned by someone who can fix it when it breaks. That's the real lesson. Automation is only valuable if you own it, not just deploy it. Do this right, and your marketing system will run smoothly while your team focuses on what they do best, selling boats. This episode is about understanding the difference between what should run automatically and what should never be automated. That's why we're not going to talk about what can be automated. We're talking about what shouldn't be automated, because that's where the real power lies. If this helped you see automation differently, the full system is inside the course at learn.mikey.ai. I'm Mikey. Go automate the right things and let your team focus on selling boats.